Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Okay, before I get this video started, yes, it's a long video. Yes, I do long format videos. So, sorry about that. I kind of like to be thorough in my videos and tutorials. But before I do jump into the video, I wanted to splice this little video in to show you the the random act of kindness mail that I got from Tamika from Scrapdaworld. She saw me commenting on, some of the entries and appreciated my supportiveness to everybody else in the community, which is I like to support people, especially if I'm in a challenge or a group or something with another group of people. I like to be respectful, watch their videos, make some intelligent and meaningful comments, and encourage people. So she didn't have to do this, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm so excited to show you guys this stuff. So I had already opened it because, I mean, come on, who's gonna wait from a rack from Tamika? So this is what she got. I don't want to make it too long, but I was like so surprised. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera, but is this not cool already? So there's this cool paper pack called Life is Beautiful. It's the Fancy Pants line, and these are some really beautiful papers. So I can't wait to use these, and I'll probably use these on some of the challenges that we have coming up in the months ahead, the ones that I'm going to participate in. Hopefully it will be all of them. Got some cool chalkboard frames. Never had those before. And then these are some cool chalkboard little clothespin things. So that is cool. And I actually got, like, I believe this is actually something she made, which is super duper cool. Love the belly band and everything. And it's a set of cards. She loves making boxes. So I believe that these are actually handmade, which is so super cool. I'm not going to open the whole thing right now, but I just thought that was like the bee's knees. I may use them, but I may never use them. I got this cool little card. So, isn't that cute with the little bottle cap thing? She made this one too. That's awesome. So, I'll turn it sideways so you can see the whole thing. Got these lovely little Stickabilities keys stickers. Super cute. Some different sticky notes. So those will be cute on some cards or projects as well. Look at that. Some metal pieces, some metal embellishment pieces. I can't wait to find the use for these. Very cool. A cool note set with some paper clips, so I can even use these for projects. It's very cool. The stationery set. These cute flowers. They're like foam flowers. I've never had these before or seen them before, so that will be very cool to use as embellishments. This pen and note set. Super cute. Look at that. These cling stamps. So cute. Love it. and these gold letter blank sentiments. I've never had word sentiment things before, so this will be super cool, and I love that it's metallic because I love metallic everything. Thank you so much for this beautiful random act of kindness, Miss Tamika. I totally and certainly appreciate it. So even if I don't win this month's challenge, I already got my prize. But if I do win, don't get mad, y'all. It's random picker, so hey, don't hate. Bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of today's Special Minis. I am doing my project share for February's It's a Link Party by Scrapdaworld. And this month's project was 3x3 note cards and holders. I'm going to put the information for her website below. She's doing these challenges to give creators across YouTube a chance to connect with each other, especially crafty creators. So if you feel like participating and you want to discover some new channels and find new people to subscribe to and support, and have new people subscribe to and support you, please go ahead, click that link and get in on the challenge. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of the projects are easy and doable. A lot of newbies are getting in on this challenge, and I have found a lot of new channels to support, and a lot of new channels have found me and supported me as well. So I did 4 sets of note cards, and no, I wasn't trying to be overzealous. I actually ended up having to do 2 sets because the template, I wanted to be able to get 2 bases and 2 belly bands out of one 12x12 sheet of paper. So I had to play around with the template a little bit, and then I figured it out. So in practicing the first design, I did 1 set, and then did it again to make sure that I had my template designed right, and so that I ended up with 2 sets. The only twist to this challenge this month was you had to use washi tape and you had to use an embossing folder. So I have about 5 washi tapes in the world. Hold on, let me go get the tapes and the embossing folder that I used. These are the four of the 5 washi that I have. The other one was a Christmas one, so it was out of the running. So since I only had 4 rolls and I ended up having 4 bases, I decided to use 1 washi per base to see how it would work out, and if I could fit them to the different themes, and it ended up working out that way. The embossing folder I used is this one. It's the Tim Holtz Tim Holtz Alterations Bingo die, and this is the, I guess, tattered bingo. You guys know Tim does tattered, distress, grunge, everything. So I didn't use the whole one. I like the idea of these numbers for the set, for the idea that I had. So I just used different sections of the numbers, and I'll show you how. So let's get into it. So for me, since I had 4 bases, I was thinking particularly of February, how I could use these throughout the month. And you can take this and amplify it, of course, to see how you can do a similar set of note cards for any month. February has a lot going on in it, and so does every other month. You can use it to celebrate specific holidays and occasions, or nationally recognized days like Ice Cream Day or Pancake Day, something like that. So it's all up to you. So the first thing I came up with was all occasion cards. These are cards, of course, you can use for all occasion. As you can see, I used that embossing folder all around because it has a lot of numbers, and that could just be a lot of different dates. So numbers can mean a lot of things, and I used a lot of different colors, and that's the washi tape I used on this Velcro band. When you open it up, it's quite plain inside. So when I was designing these boxes, I was thinking if you were to go into Walmart or some big box store and pick this up, what would it look like? And I was thinking, to save costs or whatever, design-wise, yeah, the outside would look nice, but the inside, it doesn't really warrant having a lot of decoration. So the inside is plain. Here's where I used washi number 1, on these envelopes. Now, since I was just practicing and doing these for fun, I did not use cardstock. These are all made out of copy paper, which is fine for me. I'm not going to be sending them to anybody. And if I did send these particular ones that I made out, it would be to whoever is like my 1,000th subscriber or something like that as a little gift. So these envelopes are handmade. I don't have an envelope punch board, so they don't have that cool look, but all the card has to do is fit in it, and it does. So handmade, but not homemade. And there's a difference. Homemade stuff looks, you know, cheesy. Handmade stuff looks, you know, it's not perfect, but it's done to a degree that you can still like it and appreciate it. Now for the cards, I did like a color of the rainbow type thing. I didn't have any orange alcohol ink or distress ink, so it's not the whole Roy G. Biv, you know, it doesn't have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, but I tried to match the color to the sentiment. So for happy birthday, you got red because it's nice, bright, it's lit, it's fun. You're trying to get, you know, be on fire for your birthday, so I used red, and all these cards are blank on the inside. Yellow is for get well soon, because I guess if you're sick, you want something nice and bright and to look forward to, and it might cheer you up. Green is for go, you know, a thank you for something that actually happened or got done, or a deadline or something that you made and somebody helped you and you just want to say thank you. It's a bright, happy color. Blue is if something sad, if somebody lost a job, somebody lost a boyfriend, things like that. And if you're thinking of them, you know, you say, I know you're feeling blue, and then I'm thinking of you. Just a solidarity card. Purple is royal and regal, and I chose that for congrats because it signifies accomplishment. And yeah, I thought that would be a great color for that. And then we have white with sympathy, symbolizing, you know, a death in the family, a death of a pet, a death of something significant for somebody else, some kind of significant loss, house, you know, fire, that kind of thing. And so that's why this one card comes in black and white. So that's that set. And then this set is for Valentine's Day. And actually, one of the little flowers, I have to put them back on there because it came off by accident. I was being a little bit too rough with it, and I made one of the roses come off. But this was my idea for Valentine's Day. So this is all occasions. You could make or give this to somebody. This would be something you would buy or make just to give to somebody to have something for anything that might come up. This is if you're in a particularly new relationship, and it's for Valentine's Day. Obviously, it would be a man giving this to a woman. And typically and historically you'd give somebody like a dozen roses and some candy and some chocolates for Valentine's Day. But if you're in a new relationship, you may not be at the point where you're going to, you know, fork over a lot of money for a dozen roses and stuff like that. So this is a symbolic dozen of roses in this box, and it's in a nice light box. You know, when I think of black and Valentine's Day, black is more seductive and more sultry and sexy and has a bit more of a, you know, connotation to it. But white is nice and light, and it could be, you know, a relationship that's just starting out or something, you know, where you don't want to seem too heavy-handed. So I found a picture of a rose online, a coloring page, so I just put it in my Word document and decreased the size down to 1 inch, and then printed that out, and I painted these. They didn't come like this. I painted all of these. This is painted with some interference and some white to give it like an iridescent kind of shine. I tried to do a faux cloisonné look, and I'm not sure I accomplished it. It's a pretty look, but I don't know if it looks cloisonné. So here you can see I tried to do cloisonné with but it doesn't have a 3D metallic wire look to it. So, but it's still pretty. And here I just, the backside is unfinished just to let you see that I used some recycled packaging, like a UPS box or something like that. But I would finish it if I was giving this to somebody, and paint these white and edge them in, white, gold, silver, or pearl or something like that. So you have 6 white roses on the front. Here is a heart. I found a outline of a heart online. I made like 6 copies of it, stacked them up, and then glued them to some cardboard, cut it out, and then I made these little Sweet Tarts candy things. I found a picture of some Sweet Tarts candies online, and I shrank it down to the size it would fit in my little shaker, and I put them in there. Now it actually shakes, but I glued it down for this demonstration. Then I put a little piece of sparkle confetti tissue paper on the front, and then you could put whatever. You could put Valentine's Day or whatever, but I just did that, and I put a little ribbon tie. So then you open it up, and see, one of them came off. I got to put that back on. And this is how I use the embossing folder. I painted in pink the number 14, and then distressed it with some, I think, some kind of raspberry distress stain. I forget the name of it. So on the back we have a washi seal, kind of indicative of a wax seal, and then I just lined it with a little bit of pink paper. Again, this is made out of just regular copy paper, not cardstock, because I was just doing it for the sake of doing this challenge, and it's not intended to really send to someone. Now these are the cards. The same rows, I blew it up instead of decreased it and printed it out in black and white, and then I just painted it using just a very few apple barrel paints. So the pink rose I printed on pink copy paper, the yellow one on yellow copy paper, and the blue on blue copy paper. Then I backed it with neon paper, neon orange, neon yellow, neon blue. And so this one I painted the dark shadows with a dark red, and the highlight I did with pink paint. For this one I did brown for the shadows and white for the highlight. And for this one I did dark blue for the shadows and light purple for the highlight. It's just a simple mat on the inside with a little cutout heart. And so you would be giving this to, or a guy would be giving this to his girl, and obviously, he would be giving it for her to be giving out to other people, because, he just gave her a box of Valentine's Day cards. So it would be for her to give out to her friends at school or to her co-workers as a nice little gesture. So you got six roses right here in color, and 6 white roses right here. You got your dozen roses, and you got your box of candy. And then if you want, you can slip a little piece of chocolate in there, and then you have like a real piece of chocolate, and you have your chocolates. So that's that one. And then this one was a fun one. This was actually the first idea that I came up with. And this is for novelty set of cards. So say you and a bunch of friends are going to go see the Vagina Monologues, and you want a keepsake of the event. Or say you and your friends are going to see Wicked, the musical, or Rent. Or if you're going to you're going on a road trip to Disney World or Disneyland or whatever. You're going to Great America. You're going to, Japan, and you're going to go to the Copics factory, whatever, or you're going to go to Daiso, or Daiso, however you say it, and you want to make some commemorative cards to make you feel like, you're part of a group and you're creating and building a memory together. Or you have some kind of workshop or activism or something that you're interested in, Earth Day, Greenpeace, all that. You can make a set of cards for those. So, and this would be great. So this one I did the Vagina Monologue because it coincides with Valentine's Day, where Valentine's is celebrating love The Vagina Monologues is celebrating women in particular and women's voices and women's power. So I did this. It's like a girl pulling down her undies, and this band took me, believe it or not, a lot of engineering to come up with, and it goes over the box, and I put a brad right there and cut a notch, and it holds it so that it falls right at the right angle that I want it to for this box. So then on the back, here we have Until the Violence Stops, and it's a girl's hips with a microphone in the middle that looks like a vagina. So again, to go with Vagina Monologues, and you can do this for whatever. It could be for St. Patty's Day, Cinco de Mayo, 4th of July. You can make all, any kind of specific occasion box. So I did this one particularly because I wanted to show this activism. And I heard that, the Vagina Monologues have been coming under fire lately because transgender men are upset that it doesn't tell their stories. And for me, that's kind of like the violence continues, because anytime a man can tell a woman she can't tell her story because she's not telling his story, that's not okay. And I don't care how anybody want to politically correct it or justify it or whatever. These stories told in this play are valid for the time that it was done and for the people that it was done for and the people that it was done with. And the truth is always valid. I don't care whose story is not included. If a set of stories doesn't tell your story, then tell your own stories. But don't tell somebody they can't tell theirs because theirs doesn't include yours. That's just not okay. So, Until the Violence Stops, this is my PSA for that. I fully support the Vagina Monologues. And listen, it's not my favorite thing. When I was in college, this was a big thing to go to. And my cousin was in it in our university's production. And she did a monologue that was really raunchy. And that's not my thing. There's a lot of stories in this that just don't fit well with me. It's not telling any story that I resonate with, but I do appreciate that Eve Ensler took the time to ask women stories about themselves, and she started a movement, and that's valid and that's important. Women need to have their voices heard and need to be able to feel free to tell their stories. So I fully support it, even though I don't agree with every kind of story. It doesn't tell every story. It doesn't tell virgin stories. It doesn't tell Christian stories. It doesn't tell modest stories. They're very adult-oriented stories. So if you've never heard of it or never read it, you can probably read it online. Just go ahead and read it. And these are the envelopes. Again, these are handmade. I messed them up. So I just call these tuxedo-style envelopes because, yeah, for some reason I didn't get the measurements right, so they don't close, so they all have that little peekaboo in it. So tuxedo. And this is just some, again, notebook paper that I had, but I didn't want to use a whole lot of it because I don't have that much of it left. And this is what these cards look like. Again, I painted the 14 because it coincides with Valentine's Day, and I put free because a lot of the stories about women being set free. Now, I was going to highlight 14 on all of them, but then I had a thought that, wait a minute, there's lots of numbers on here, and each number could be different for a different reason for a different person. So, somebody might be 23 when they realize they were free to express themselves, or as a woman, you could have been 12 or 25 or 40. So you can highlight whatever number is significant for you. And the same goes, like if you're going to go see, a play, or you're going to Disney World, you can highlight whatever number matters. Like, you're going to Disney World on the 19th, well, highlight that one to let everybody know, that that's what that's for. So on the inside of this one, we got different things related to the play. And this one was hilarious, like different names that people have for vaginas. It's like crazy how people come up with just goofy stuff without, to avoid saying the real thing. Like I looked up the Urban Dictionary for vagina to see what kind of slang people. Let me tell you, that's a trip and a half. I was laughing for the longest. If you go check it out. You got like camel toe, and that's if you're under 50. If you're over 50, you got a moose knuckle, you got a cookie, you got a bearded clam, and then all of these stupid like animal names like mule nose, buffalo gums, rooster jaws. Never heard of that. The Vegan Dilemma, DNA Trap, The Split Knish, just crazy stuff. And so I put excerpts from the play in here. And then on the back I use my washi tape, number 2, as the V. So, there. And then February is Black History Month, and it seems like people celebrate everything, but nobody really celebrates that anymore, and it's just as much of a valid holiday or day of recognition as anything else. So I made this special box to commemorate Black History Month, and you can do that with any month, Hispanic Awareness Month or whatever, Native American Month, whatever other months there are. You can do commemorative boxes, and you can pass these out to your kids or grandkids, and you know, something like, if you have biracial kids, you need to be celebrating, and they're black, you need to celebrate, you know, if you can celebrate Easter and Christmas and 4th of July and, you know, Cinco de Mayo and St. Patty's Day and all this kind of stuff, you can celebrate Black History Month too. And it doesn't make you militant. It just makes you invested in your kids and your grandkids. So if you have biracial kids and you're white, yeah, you can go ahead and find, you know, positive role models in the black community for your kids to connect to. If you're black, you definitely need to be celebrating Black History Month, because our kids are out here getting wild and wilding out, and we need to be accountable and hold them accountable and dream big and do better, because they deserve that, and we do too, and the future deserves that. So, I mean, this is a special box. So I put a little chain on this one because knowledge, wisdom, discernment. When you're talking about Black history, you're talking about vision, you're talking about future, you're talking about community, you're talking about history, you're talking about a collective energy, a diaspora. You're actually talking about a world culture of people that are connected in very specific and in very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like explosive, under explosive contexts and explosive ways. So in order to delve into that, you kind of got to take the chains off. We've had an interesting history in this world, and you know, you got to be willing to set other people free and to set yourself free. So I did the box black. On the back I used that embossing folder. 19th, if you're black, you know what 19 signifies. It's for Juneteenth. If you don't know what Juneteenth is, look it up. I can't tell you everything. So that's very significant. I used black, red, and green, which are very significant colors for Africans and Africans in the diaspora. And I used the 4th washi tape. Oh, you know what? Let me backtrack. For this one, I used this washi tape. I put some washi tape around there, and then I used the washi tape on that seal. I don't think I pointed that out. So this one has a visa stamp, and I was thinking, visas, what do they mean? They talk about where you're headed. They talk about where you've been. They talk about past, and they talk about future. They talk about history, you know, heritage. All of that kind of thing is significant in that. So that worked out. And then I put these red arrows because, you know, we need to be going up and to the right. We need to be going in the right direction. So these boxes, I just used plain black paper, and yeah, it needs no more adornment. The subject warrants no other embellishment. And then for this set, I made some cards using the faces and voices of prominent African American people in our community, with quotes and words that would resonate with people. Here we got Harriet Tubman, we got James Baldwin, Harriet Tubman again, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and Ella, Lady Ella Fitzgerald. And you can choose quotes and stuff from any African person that you feel has a message that resonates with you. You can be as bubblegum about it as you want, or as militant as you want, because you know we get militant with ours, because we're not afraid to take it there. They're just empty on the inside. But if I was making these for somebody, I would probably put something on the inside, and they're edged with gold around these. So you can keep it as bubblegum as just having different quotes from, you know, an Oprah show, or, you know, excerpts from Maya Angelou's poems, or you can get deep with it and talk about, you know, really important people that have made an impact in the African American community. But don't not talk about it. Don't talk about everything else during February and not talk about Black history, because Black history is American history. And there you have it. Those are my 4 sets of cards. Again, I wasn't trying to do 4 sets, it just ended up that way. And I actually like all of these sets. And this was just to give you an idea that it's so versatile. You can use these sets of cards and make them for anybody and for any occasion. And I hope you do. If you do, please share. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next Link Party Challenge or in the next video tutorial that I do for this channel. Alright, thank you. If you want to get involved in this, I'll have all the information below. Bye.